Hey guys, it's your girl Lauren Ruby. I'm back with another reaction video. It's by the title. I'm reacting to the Subculture England band and going to this.
Common sense, they're trying to stop murder.
From the decaying ashes of the Chav, in the early to mid 2010s,
they love saying they want to stop drill music.
One that was much more violent, much more organised, and much more controversial. The Roadman. Tensions between the UK authorities and the Roadman grew and grew and grew, eventually leading to laws being passed banning the music they held sacred, UK drill. Today, we will explore the Roadman subculture.
There's no way.
All black North Faces, puffer jackets, shotter bags, like Air Max 97s, and they're extremely complex and widely enjoyed slang.
You know what, anytime I see you, I'm gonna lick off your face. Don't think they actually mean lick off your... No.
Roadman culture is very interesting. It's become massively influential on the wider mainstream culture, even outside of the UK. But before Drake started dressing in Stone Island, the Roadman's origins came from the old dying subculture of the Chav. Now, I made a whole video about that. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it below. But effectively, the Chavs were like the underclass of British society. They were known for being troublemakers, very antisocial, very criminal. But by the end of the 2010s, the Chav era really came to an end. But fear not, quietly in the underground in the 2000s culture, a brand new subculture was emerging, and it all starts with music.
There's just no better feeling than performing.
I feel like
you give so much of yourself, but
I'll say that. Wait, what? Let me actually, because...
No, quietly in the underground in the 2000s culture, a brand new subculture was emerging.
I feel like Nike
starts with music.
That's like a New York uniform. I'm not gonna lie. Nike tech.
Grime was a genre of music in the UK that evolved from the electronic genre of garage. Yeah, it was pretty similar, but instead of having Daniel Bedingfield emotionally singing how he's got to get through this, I gotta get through this, you had Wiley rapping about how he was going to leg a man down.
He's the godfather of grime. For 2 decades, Wiley has been an influential figure in British culture.
Wiley is often credited as like the godfather of grime. What's interesting about Wiley at that time is that he had a very unique way of speaking, different accent.
Before you can hear me, but I'm speaking in a London accent.
As London's ethnic demographic changed over the last 20 to 30 years, a very specific way of speaking and accent started to pop up around about the 80s and 90s, which now some people refer to as the multicultural London English accent.
If it was on a dirty commercial thing and man was on a hardcore grime road thing, his thing won't fit him, man.
It's basically a mix of like traditional Cockney geezer accent.
I don't remember nothing. I was obviously smashed out mid-train.
Combined with elements of Jamaican patois. This combination would go on to develop the very iconic Roadman dialect that we hear today.
How do we say hello? Wagwan.
Wagwan.
One more dose, man.
Wait, y'all say Wagwan in the UK?
But you see, on top of just speaking different, there was also a far more edgier attitude that came with what we would now call the Roadman. An attitude that was more aggressive, more in your face, more bravado. And you can really hear this in the lyrics of grime. Often rapping about money, cars, girls, partying. These young men who existed in very poor conditions were trying to find ways of gaining respect in their community. Respect that was often withheld from the wider British public. And so, pretty understandably, they weren't very happy about that. And you could hear that in the lyrics of grime.
Will make man run for their lives.
By the mid to early 2000s, we were getting closer and closer to what we could call a roadman. But something was missing. And that was the fashion. I think this was most evident in the music video for Game Over by Tinchy Stryder. So the track starts with Giggs and we see him wearing this outfit that sort of looks like he didn't know what he was dressing for. But he could have been going out for a pint with his mates, attending a baseball game or going on a dinner date. And then we jump over to Devlin, who's dressed as if he's just come from beating up away fans at a football match. And then finally you got Tinchy Stryder, who has so much jewellery on him it looks like he ran out of money for the rest of his outfit. And so as you can see, the fashion was lacking. But now it was the early 2010s, and grime had actually reached a very low point. After its massive success, the sound became very commercialised and tried being sold to a mainstream audience. It started to sound very inauthentic, and grime just lost its popularity, and it really died down. But that would all change in 2014, with the second coming of grime. Meridian Dan dropped the tune German Whip.
Man driving a German whip.
Now every single lad outside of a McDonald's was playing this tune at full blast. Skepta released two tunes in particular that started doing really well, which is That's Not Me,
No, that's not me.
and Shut Down.
That's not me, and it's shut down.
Whereby in both tunes he was very specifically talking about fashion and why he changed how he dressed. Because of copyright, I'm going to have to perform the tunes for you. Yeah, I used to wear Gucci, but I put it all in the bin. Because that's not me. True, I used to look like you, but dressing like a mess? Nah, that's not me. And then you got the other tune, Fashion Week, and it shut down. Went to the show, sitting in the front row in a black tracksuit, and it shut down. This sportswear roadman aesthetic was being popularised by Skepta. So much so that in 2015, Skepta did a fashion model walk in Milan, dressed head to toe as a roadman. As well, Stormzy was becoming a massive artist, and he would often dress like a roadman. And then something insane happened. Before we go any further with this video, I want to give a massive shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring. Squarespace is the #1 platform for building and developing your own website. Whatever it is you do, whether you're a graphic designer, maybe a business consultant, having a great looking website is super important for reflecting the quality of your work. With Squarespace, it's squarespace.com/Jimmy the Giant. And to get use the code Jimmy.
I couldn't believe the pockets that he was finding and the consistency of his flows and just
you know Drake
choices
loved
that
the
he was
UK,
making.
Drake, for whatever reason, just absolutely fell in love with the UK. He would come out unannounced at underground grime events. He would collaborate with grime musicians, and there was endless jokes and memes about how Drake turns into a roadman every time he goes to England.
Man's never been in Marquee when it's shut down, eh? Trust me, daddy.
But you see, as funny as this was, it was very beneficial to the UK music scene and the roadman culture. But you see, this is where things start to get dark. Around 2013, a new genre of music was emerging from Brixton in London, with two gangs called 150 and 67. They were from a very rough area and were very involved in the gang work. This genre was called UK drill. Now look, grime was also very gang heavy, talking about
drill was around,
violence, etc. But drill took it to another level. From the dark, evil sounding instrumentals
serious back then. What the hell?
to the lyrics
I thought y'all just started making
specific
music.
gang murders, showing weapons on camera, and basically showing off this lifestyle. Now the two groups,
classic
150
Chicago
and
music
67,
video.
had beef. This would be considered the first ever UK drill beef. But things would start to change on February 24th, 2015.
Oh Lord. That's how it all starts. When one person dies.
For each other over music. But it would be on this day where a member of 150 called SQ would be stabbed to death by a member of 67. Around the same sort of time, a member of 67 called Scribs was starting to actually blow up in the music industry. But you see, Scribs was a naughty boy. He was involved in lots of criminal cases, and these cases resulted in him receiving a ASBO, an antisocial behaviour order, where in 2014 the police banned him from making and performing music. But you see, Scribs was a very inventive man. He was able to scuttle his way around the ban by changing his name to LD and wearing a face mask.
Is that why some of them wear face masks?
In 2014 to like 2017, UK drill
Hold up,
really,
because a lot of them be wearing
very
face
much
masks.
developed its own sound separate to the Chicago drill scene, and it was finding success in the mainstream world of music. You couldn't escape it. Every single roadman driving around a Vauxhall Corsa selling weed would be blaring out drill beats, and so this was the final piece of the puzzle for the roadman culture to truly take over. It seemed as though everyone loved drill, except for the police.
Did you know that women are making $5,000 to $10,000 a month using and not only that, but their work.
I think I've seen this in a
The police
video.
were starting to link drill to escalating gang violence that was happening in the streets. These violent stabbings and shootings would happen after drill rappers would send for each other over tracks. One guy would kill one person and then talk about it in a track, and then another person would send a track back and then go and kill him. And it started to get out of hand, to the point where the police took very extreme measures.
Today, a judge bans 5 young drill artists from performing or uploading songs that incite violence.
5 rappers from the group 1011 were banned from making music altogether.
The ruling
Ow.
is significant.
He's still making
Thought to be
music.
the first time modern-day ASBO
How's he
has
been?
been
Yeah.
used to censor art.
What they were specifically being banned from doing was mentioning in their lyrics death or injury, and from mentioning named postcodes in like a gang-related context. If any of these members wanted to make a new song, they had to run it by the police 24 hours before releasing it. As well, they had to give 48 hours of notice to the police of the date and location of any performance or any filming of a music video, and have police on site at the time.
Come to the US. Come to the US. So that right there is stupid as hell.
Can't make it there. Said something me and Skendo to call.
As well, two other drill rappers called Skendo and AM had actually received a 2-year suspended sentence for performing the banned song Attempted 1.0. Now you may be wondering what led the police to take these extreme actions. Around 2017 there had been a massive wave of knife crime. It had been the highest it had been in a very long time, and a 22% rise. This sparked a debate whether drill had anything to do with this rise in knife crime, because it did seem a little coincidental with the height of drill being a genre that talked about stabbing and murdering. It just so happened to be at the exact same time of this massive knife problem. The OG drill group 6-7, who was starting to do really well,
drill's a part of it, but the music, y'all chose to do them things.
And this was because the venues were scared
y'all
due to a separate
the music ain't make y'all do it, y'all make yourself do it. So
Form 696 was created in 2005, and it required venues like nightclubs to hand over details to the authorities around who was performing at an event, what genre of music they produced, the target audience of that music, and their ethnicity. As you can imagine, this received quite a bit of criticism. It was seen as discriminating against rap, grime, and other underground black-led genres. In 2010, gigs had a show cancelled under Form 696. JME also had a show cancelled, which led to him making a whole documentary on this controversy.
I'm starting to get concerned that what we do is slowly being strangled by London's police, and in particular a form I keep hearing about called the 696. I was booked to play at Just Jam at the Barbican with Big Nasty in February, but following police advice, it was cancelled the day before without a valid reason.
There is a clear link between these drill videos, as they're called, and very serious violence.
Even though they sound sinister, they're really saying, come to my neighbourhood, see what's going on.
The police say we're not trying to kill music, this is just common sense, they're trying to stop murder.
When we were trying to go to other venues,
yeah, but y'all don't understand,
go to venues and they turn
this
around
is
and
how
say,
a lot of them make their money. So if they're not making their money from these musics, it's gonna be even worse now. They ain't gonna really start robbing people.
Revoking their license.
I can understand what they're coming from, but it's
Jump
like...
forward now 10 years to drill, and Form 696, as well as these ASBOs, were being used to suppress this music. But you see, the ban had the opposite reaction to what was intended. This controversy around drill only made drill cooler. It was now countercultural, it was rebellious. See, the ban had the opposite reaction to what was intended. This controversy around drill only made drill cooler. It was now countercultural, it was rebellious. It was this authentic street culture.
A lot of these young people are disenfranchised and they are rapping about what they see, not necessarily what they are going to do. So it's too simplistic to say that because of this genre of music.
Some of them don't even be rapping what they live. They just be,
And so this debate grew and grew around free speech. The question being something around what is the definition of inciting violence? Does free speech protect that? If I jumped on a UK drill beat and said, I'm going to stab Bob outside of McDonald's at 10 PM on Friday, I release that song and then go and do that thing, can the police use those lyrics as evidence in court? And furthermore,
you set yourself up.
Controversially,
You snitching on
can
yourself.
the police stop me from putting those lyrics out
I'm
there
sorry,
because it might lead...
Damn, if you rap about something and you actually did it, like actually word for word, everything that you said in that song and then actually happened, you snitched on yourself.
To
You a
real life
dumbass.
violence. This became a big deal.
That's pretty much it. You really snitched on yourself.
Can the
Don't
police
get mad when the
use
cops
those
come to you.
lyrics as evidence in court? And furthermore, and much more controversially, can the police stop me from putting those lyrics out there because it might lead to real life violence? This became a big deal.
I feel like
People did
they
research into it from the University of London, where they argued that
Why
the
would I go
authorities
to the cops and be like, oh, can I put this out?
misguided and actually led to more.
You ain't paying me. What the hell?
Even though their narratives
not
are
paying me.
causing chaos in
Get
those
them off my face.
communities, what they're talking about is a reality that society don't want to deal with. And for me, this is where we need to shift the discussion to, not just blaming and banning and censoring young people, but why really are you carrying knives? Why really are you carrying guns?
To me, banning drill completely completely misses the point. All it does is target a symptom of a much deeper problem. These are usually young men who grow up in these communities surrounded by violence, poverty, and come from broken homes. Often the only masculine role models that they can find are people who are in gangs, like older dudes, who people fear and respect. And so they see that as the only route for them to receive respect in this world too. What's really ironic is many of the rappers who make it out of this lifestyle and are successful often grow up into wanting to be these powerful, positive role models for these younger dudes. They want to show that it's possible to live a different life and get out of it. I mean, for example, Stormzy, he's always talking about his faith in God and his attitude to rising out of the world he came from.
You could do
drill and roadman culture definitely did
bro.
glamorize violence. It probably did make things worse, but it isn't the problem itself, it's just a symptom of the problem. You have to assess what drives these men into these lifestyles and fix those problems, and not just simply ban their self-expression.
When we was younger, before this music, there wasn't really a vision to like, see anything.
Now they got a vision to do better.
But now I'm sure that
but some of them just still
a lot more examples.
Still want to be in the street. I don't get it.
Further away from this place.
Still want to do
crimes. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and watch this video right here.
At all. But if you guys like this reaction, you already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. When you subscribe, turn that post notification bell on so you know when I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.